sexual abuse, threat and torture. National Commission for Women, National Commission for Scheduled Castes, they've visited the area, spoken to some of these women, revealed an atmosphere of fear pervading and how people are scared their families will be targeted if they speak up. It's these women who first came out and demanded the arrest of Sheikh Shah Jahan, Shibu Hazra and Uttam Sardar, the three leaders who've usurped allegedly several quotas of agricultural land in Sandeshkhali, forcefully converting them into fisheries. Most of them have done so despite great pressure and fear of retribution. But for the woman chief minister of the state, they're all liars. Why is the head of the state government playing down the alleged atrocities? Remember, last assembly election, Mamata Banerjee's slogan, Bangla Nijer Maike Chai, had brought her to power again. But is the chief minister not guilty of letting daughters of Bengal down? Earlier today, a PIL was filed in the Supreme Court seeking a court-monitored CBI or SIT probe into the matter. Is that now a must for some sort of sense of justice? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. First up, let's take a look at some of the big developments that have taken place today with regards to the Sandeshkhali showdown. The first big development in the case was that National Commission for Scheduled Castes submitted its report to the President. In its report, the Commission demanded President's rule in West Bengal. I'll break it down more in just a bit. Meanwhile, a petition has been filed in the Supreme Court seeking an SIT or a court-monitored CBI probe. Meanwhile, BJP's fact-finding team was stopped on their way to Sandeshkhali. They've been jostling with the police for a few days now. Later, they met the governor. Even Congress's team has been stopped from visiting the ground. And while all of this is going on, there's hyper-politics on the issue. Women in and around Sandeshkhali are continuing to protest, demanding the arrest of Sheikh Shah Jahan. Let me break down more of the National Commission for Scheduled Caste revelations from their short trip. Remember, members have spoken to CNN News 18 exclusively as well. Now, the NCSC has found that people had a lot to say in the area, but they're afraid to do so. They're not being given a proper chance to do so. They confirmed that not a single FIR has been registered till now against any complaint of torture by the women so far, even though the entire country has heard women talk about this on multiple occasions. The panel further said Chief Minister of the state does not want to reveal the actual situation on the ground. They say police is involved in atrocities against women. The National Commission for Women has also made similar allegations. If women speak, is what they're finding is their family members are targeted. And the panel also highlighted that it has received no cooperation from the administration. And this is what these bodies say. This is why they feel the state administration is actively trying to suppress the story and the findings that can come in light from Sandeshkhali. The panel report says that people are terrified, they're not safe in the area. And because of those major findings, the NCSC has said that this is a clear scenario for President's rule to be imposed in the state. Now, whether that happens or not, especially ahead of the general elections, remains to be seen, but certainly something needs to be done. Now, there are indeed questions on the conduct of the state government, the state police and ruling party. None other than Chief Minister's statements have absolutely coloured and prejudiced the entire probe, if there is one. While women of Sandeshkhali have been sharing blood-curdling stories of how Sheikh Shah Jahan and his aides have been torturing them, the Chief Minister has actually been defending this accused in the assembly. She said yesterday that he is a target of the ED. Women say they are called in the middle of the night, they are sexually exploited at TMC offices. But Mamata Banerjee effectively gave the local strongman Shah Jahan a clean chit, painting a picture as if he's the one who's been unfairly targeted by the agencies. Women have revealed that they are being threatened to withdraw cases, to not come out and speak. Their family members, others, land, everything in danger. But Mamata Banerjee just gave herself a pat on the back, saying she has never supported injustice. But actually, she's never really addressed the Sandeshkhali issue quite directly. She's certainly not spoken to any of the victims. She's not made her way to the spot or anything. The big question we ask is simply this: is it truly now time for a court-monitored probe, as has happened in the past, in similar cases in other states, and notably even in West Bengal when it comes to cases of large-scale violence.
আগে টার্গেট শেখ শাহজাহান, ওকে টার্গেট করে ইডি ঢুকলো, তারপরেই সবাইকে বার করে দিয়ে
पुलिस भी उसमें इन्वॉल्व है, यानी जो रक्षक है वही भक्षक का काम कर रहे हैं और राज्य सरकार मुख्यमंत्री उनको बचाना चाहते हैं।
अभी पूरा हम लोग शर्मसार है, बंगाल में महिला का सम्मान नहीं है। अगर उन्होंने शेख शाहजहां पर कार्रवाई की होती तो आज बहनों पर इतना अत्याचार नहीं होता। ये इनका अन्याय है और हम इसका विरोध करते हैं।
You are a Bengali queen of cruelty.
कहीं भी महिलाओं पर अत्याचार हो, कुछ भी हिंसा हो, वो निंदनीय है, वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। उसकी जांच होनी चाहिए और जो कोई कानूनी तरीके से कार्रवाई होनी है करनी चाहिए राज्य सरकार।
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Anuja Kapoor from the BJP, Tausifur Rahman is from the TMC, Nirmal Kaur is former DGP and security analyst. I'm also joined by Alok Srivastav, lawyer and petitioner in this case. He's the one who's gone to the court, the Supreme Court, demanding that there should be a court-monitored probe, and also, importantly, that the trial and the probe of the case should be shifted out of West Bengal. Let me begin with Alok himself. Why do you feel this petition was necessary?
The incident was deeply disturbing, heart-wrenching. In the past, we have seen that when ED went to conduct a raid on this fellow Sheikh Shahjahan, ED people were brutally attacked. FIRs were filed against ED people. They had to approach High Court to seek stay. Yesterday, in Bengal post-poll violence cases, CBI had to move a plea in Honorable Supreme Court saying that please transfer the trial of all West Bengal post-poll violence cases outside West Bengal because there is a huge pressure and threat on the witnesses and on the lawyers who are fighting the cases for the victims in post-poll violence cases. So this clearly answers the question why there is a dire need of shifting the entire investigation as well as trial of SandeshKhali incident, which I termed as deeply disturbing incident. There is a dire need of shifting the entire process to outside West Bengal and also to conduct inquiry through an independent, absolutely fair and independent investigation agency like CBI or SIT. We have seen in Manipur incident that Honorable Supreme Court of India took suo motu cognizance and constituted a SIT and also constituted a High Court Judges Committee to inquire into the allegations. I strongly feel that similar exercise is required to be done in the interests of justice and also to give justice to these victims.
Yeah, you know, justice has to be not just given, it has to be seen to be given as well. I want to go across to the former DGP on the panel as well, Nirmal Kaur. Nobody can claim they know exactly what the truth is, right? Which is why we need a probe. But if you look at the facts that are emerging from ground, several women, scores of them have come in front of journalists for the last 1 week or so and talked about consistent, continuous torture, land grabbing, plus sexual assault, possibly rape. It's taken a lot for them to do this. Yes. There's not a single FIR registered so far on any of their complaints. The state government or the police just raises its hands up in the air and says, well, none of these women are coming to us. In such a situation where there could be fear psychosis, what is the best way forward? If the state police is seemingly complicit in wanting to bury this, shouldn't there be a court-monitored probe? And there are multiple examples of this.
Yes, it is very unfortunate that a state in which the Chief Minister herself is a woman, such atrocities are being visited upon the women of the state. SandeshKhali, this Shahjahan Sheikh's terror prevails. It is his terror den, his den of terror. He's involved in everything, right from the human trafficking to cattle smuggling to to currency note smuggling, everything. All kinds of crime is taking place there, and we have to, like the state police lives in awe of. I mean, they are scared of the criminals there. So I don't think the West Bengal police is ever going to deliver anything out here, or they are even going to register a case. The complaints have to be registered, complaints have to be monitored, and it is only because of Justice Apoor Sinha Ray's initiative that this suo motu cognizance has been taken. 5th of January, when the ED team went, they were also beaten up by Shahjahan Sheikh, and I think he is absconding since then. Maybe that's part of the reason this tale of his horrors has started to come out a bit.
Yes.
This has to be monitored. First of all, we have to register cases, then they have to be investigated in a very fearless, impartial manner, and the guilty has
And
to
that's
be brought to
possibly
book.
not possible.
It cannot be
And that's
just because
possible
the state police
only if there is a external neutral agency. It might not be possible at the hands of the very police
Yes, it's
that
not
is
possible with
accused
West Bengal
of
police,
actually being
because
part
their
of the
functioning is
atrocities and
totally-
torture. It's
Yes.
not only that they're turning a blind eye.
Yes,
Some
they're
of the
living
teams
there.
have accused the police of being hand in glove. But ma'am, I want to understand from you, what do you make of the state police's response? Could they have not filed in a suo motu FIR saying, okay, we have heard these women
think
talk
the
in
state
media
police
and
is
we've
not
heard some of
acting in
these
an impartial
statements, we
manner
are
at
lodging
all.
a complaint, we will see what we can do. Could they not have done at least that?
No, state police is in cahoots with them. State police is working more like their personal gundas. They have refused to register anything or to.
But could
even,
they have?
to
Do
bring
state
anything to
polices
notice.
do
Though
that?
all the cases. The police is supposed to be preventing crime, maintaining law and order, but the West Bengal police is not doing that. They are just working as handmaidens of the political regime, and they are just an extension of the terror of TMC goons. And I think that is a very, very sad indicator. That's very sad. So if citizens have to be given any justice at all, cases have to be registered and investigated in a very independent manner by a very fearless, independent, impartial agency.
Tasif, I want to come to you.
Court-monitored,
You
I
know,
think
what has
court-monitored,
transpired is, by any standards, and regardless of where, how you look at it, what political prism you may look at it, if you were to devoid it of any politics and who's in power, who's not in power, what has transpired is absolutely appalling. And the least that needs to happen is that for people to have faith, to have no fear, and to offer also an impartial inquiry to take place, this should indeed be court monitored. The state should actually have no problems in that if Mamata Banerjee truly feels that she is not interested in letting anyone guilty go scot-free.
Shivani, if anyone wants to go to the court, you and me, we cannot stop that, right? It's a very sensitive issue, and I will stick to it. I mean, you can't ignore anything, whatever is happening in SandeshKhali at this moment. But beside political statements, again, I want to stick to my technical things. The Barasat DIG has clarified in the press conference that of the 4 complaints they have received after an SP rank woman visited the area and interacted with women, none of them mentioned rape or sexual harassment. I repeat, none of them mentioned rape or sexual harassment, and neither is there any communal angle in the complaint received. Again, we are saying there was no communal angle by the SP with the women. Now, if you want to turn this into green, blue, black, white, I mean, where are we standing, Shivani? I mean, you want to stage this whole drama? You want to
Why would
script this
anybody
whole
want to
drama?
stage this drama? I'm not
I'm
quite
telling you,
understanding.
and Shivani,
The women
Shivani, the
themselves,
election is
villagers
coming,
themselves came out of their own accord before there was any politics involved. They were actually so angry, and I don't condone this, they burned down some of the poultry farms that have allegedly been built on captured land by Sheikh Shahjahan and his goons. So who is
Shivani,
creating drama?
There is a major part of RSS working out there. And you
So
know, whether I would
RSS
speak-
has a major branch,
wait,
but
let me complete.
no, one
Let me
second.
complete.
Can I just say?
If you
I've
don't-
heard this
if you
before.
don't let me
The
complete,
chief
I can't-
minister
I can't
herself
complete the
said
whole
it.
sentence.
It's not new. You're not bringing out something new. She herself said that there's a big branch of the RSS and some bunker of the RSS in SandeshKhali. Even if I was to believe that, that does not mean that suddenly women in SandeshKhali would erupt in such anger and come out and protest for the last 7 days? And what about the influence that Sheikh Shah Jahan has in the area? So RSS has influence, but you're completely denying the influence Shah Jahan has.
See, of course, it's not about denying. I'm talking about the facts. If someone will come and tell me from last 13 years I've been harassed, I've been in trouble, people is torturing me, and TMC is keep on sending schemes. They are enjoying all these schemes, which is every people will enjoy the scheme of West Bengal. And when the election is coming by, which is very near, all of a sudden this all chaos came in front of your eyes, in front
Which
of
election?
India.
You're saying this is linked to central Lok Sabha election?
Why not? Why not? Where am I wrong? Where am I wrong? Why can't you connect this whole chaos with the general election as well?
So you're saying that for 13 years this has gone on, and because nobody has spoken. So let me understand your logic.
When they have spoken.
No.
Shivani, when they have spoken. No,
They have spoken because Sheikh Shah Jahan is missing now. Was he absconding earlier also?
No. Back to 7 and 8 years also they were there. So 2011, 2014, 2016, 2019, 2021 and 2024, BJP always comes up with some story. I mean, I don't disrespect those women.
I don't understand how you're saying that they,
I am not disrespecting those women.
Really sad.
You can't say both of these things and say I still respect the women's version, because you're effectively calling it a drama.
इनके पीछे है कौन? We have to see.
How do you know इनके पीछे कोई है? You have to prove your point. Now, why should I buy it?
How do you know? How do you know? There's no one. That's what I'm telling you. We know there is someone. We can prove you this.
Yeah, so prove it now.
Before jumping the gun, you cannot.
Nobody is jumping the gun. Nobody is saying hang anybody. Nobody is saying that. No, all people are saying is that please have a semblance of justice and some impartial probe.
Let us work. There is 144. This Sham, Ram, Bam. So CPM went there when 144 was there. They wanted to create a chaos. BJP went there. Sukanta Majumdar was dancing on top of the bonnet, and then he said that
you're shifting the goalpost now. I'm not talking about 144. I was simply asking you about an impartial probe. Is that possible under the influence of the same police? One second. Is that possible under the influence of the same police that has been accused of being in cahoots with Sheikh Shah Jahan and his goons? And it's not a fantastical, phenomenon. We know this phenomenon of local strongmen being bigger than the local administration and police exists in West Bengal. It has existed in the past, for example, in other states also. UP, for example, was infamous for Mafia Raj, for Gunda Raj. Right? We know horror stories where police would not do anything in front of local strongmen. So it's not as if this is some fantastical concept I can't believe. It exists.
Shivani, do you know about Vikas Singh? Do you know about Vikas Singh? You don't know about Vikas. Vikas Singh.
Why are you talking about somebody else? Talk about Sheikh Shah Jahan.
So you are talking about Sheikh Shah Jahan. I'm talking about Vikas Singh. What is wrong? I can't talk about Vikas Singh because he's a BJP goon. I can't talk about him.
But it's your government. Why are you not acting against a BJP goon?
He's wanted from last 1 week. This is what I want to explain you.
So you're the government. What are you complaining about?
No, I'm not complaining. We will take care of everything. You don't worry.
So do it.
Take care of each and everything. But you can't jump the gun.
Nobody is jumping the gun. I think Alak wanted to come in very quickly before I go to Anuja. I don't understand why you keep acting, first of all, like, there is some great scheme against West Bengal, or that people are jumping the gun. Is asking for an FIR and a probe jumping the gun?
Shivani, there you go. This is what the whole thing is, to malign the image of Mamata Bandapal.
Yeah, you can keep saying that. That does not take away the testimonies of the women. Alak, 1 second. Alak, very quickly, then Anuja.
Yes. First and foremost, it is extremely insensitive on the part of the said leader of TMC to term it as a drama. Second is, it is extremely unfortunate
Do you have any proofs?
to deliver verdict, to deliver final judgment. Just
You are a lawyer, sir.
Yes, I am coming to that. I am just going to narrate the proof. Give me, my dear friend, just give me 60 seconds. Let me tell you how there are plenty of things which clearly indicate this. More than 10 to 20 video statements of the victims wherein they allege that there were sexual harassments, exploitations,
Yes.
molestations. Those videos are there available in the public domain. Just listen to me quietly for 60 seconds. Just 60 seconds. 10 to 20 video evidences of
Those
direct
videos,
allegation
right?
of sexual harassment by
Those
Sheikh
videos,
Shahjahan and
right?
his goons. 60 seconds. I am
It's not a
just give me 60
testimony.
seconds.
It's not-
Tausif,
Before you
not
come with
over
this
each other,
drama.
please. 1 second.
Please. First, those video evidences which are already in the public domain, which will be collected and gathered as credible evidences by independent and impartial agencies when they come into the play. Second is, just listen. Second is Honorable High Court. One bench of Honorable High Court taking suo motu cognizance. It appealed to the judicial concerns and they took suo motu cognizance of the case. Third is yesterday Indian Express, which is a reputed newspaper, they published a news report saying that they have interacted with 5 victims at SandeshKhali. Apart from that, NCW says that they also went there and they found that complaints are being filed against the victims themselves.
Yeah.
Sir,
No,
this
there is
what
a
I want
problem.
to-
Can
One
we
second.
just-
Tausif, one
can we
second. One
just
of our
brush
guests has
aside
not
all these
spoken.
evidences?
Not like this. Please speak when you're
most
spoken to.
unfortunate part is
One second,
that
one
you
second.
are
There are
pronouncing
clearly
judgment
problems
even
on
before
ground. It
investigation is
cannot be
over.
brushed under the carpet. And just saying there is a political conspiracy does not suffice. Just saying there is RSS presence in the area does not suffice. Just saying that, this happens just before elections does not suffice. There is a responsibility and a duty of the state to act. And mind you, you may say that the DGP or the police has not received any complaints of sexual assault or rape. Those testimonies, though, were given by women in front of media. Why they're not coming in front of your state police is an answer you should give. And which is why people feel that there has to be an external agency to do the probe now. But Anuja hasn't spoken. She's been waiting patiently. Anuja, the charge keeps coming back at the BJP that somehow you instigate this.
Jai Shri Ram, and I would just like and a humble request to Tausif Rahman. I have listened to you very patiently and I am also a lawyer for your information. So just be quiet for a moment. Now this is a bloody path which we have seen in Bengal, West Bengal. This drama which Mamata Banerjee is keeping on doing is that nothing happened in West Bengal. This bloody path has been a trail not only for a small kids from 2020 onwards. We have seen so many cases. Now we have also seen during the Lok Sabha 2019 when the
Exactly, this is what I'm saying
BJP
only.
Hindu
Only during
women
election zone.
were being, see, he has a wrong, see, there is a problem with Rahman. I know,
No,
sir.
no, this
I know
is the problem.
about you.
This
Very
is-
well,
this
I
is
know
the
about you.
problem.
One second,
I
can I
don't
just have
I'm knowing
Anuja with me,
about you.
please?
This
One second.
is-
Not over each other, please.
Oh,
Anuja,
he thinks he's Anuja. He's thinking he's Anuja. Yeah. So this is where the problem is, because when the party talks about, they say BJP is not there, bhai sahab, in West Bengal. It is your failure. It is your failure of your police. It is the failure of Mamata Banerjee, who talks about 40% of the women reservation in the Lok Sabha, and she says I have a Lok Sabha in State Assembly. What empowerment are you talking about? Your people, your women cannot speak in open. What kind of a women you back and what kind of empowerment you talk about? The women empowerment you talk, where a woman has to hide her face to talk about the ordeal. And who is Sheikh? Who is this Sheikh? This Shahjahan Sheikh, how close he is with Mamata Banerjee? Who is this Sardar? How close he is with Mamata Banerjee? And then you talk about there is a club in every district who takes women in the night and they satisfy their lust. And what about you? What was Mamata Banerjee was doing? Now Mohima Moitra will not speak because she's not there in Lok Sabha. Now Kokai would not speak. She was saying, oh my God, I am there. The TMC has given me this respect. This has given me. And you talk about the evidences of the rape. The woman is not obligatory to give the evidence of rape in the court. She will have to just say that the thing has happened, even if in 2 years. In 2 years also she will talk about it. And you have to listen to her. You have a problem, you go to court. The women are going to the court, not only in court, they're going in front of the media. You have to understand why the women of TMC are coming out in media and talking about what is it that Mamata Banerjee is so scared of. Why
You can shout as much as you want. Not a
Why she
problem.
cannot? Why she has made a mini Pakistan?
You can shout as much as you want.
Pakistan
But we
Sindh
need
in
evidences.
West Bengal.
We need to
Why
respect
she
those women
only
who have been
favors
tortured.
Mussalman? Why she
By the
only
BJP.
favors one community?
Exactly,
Women
now
have
this is the
been
problem.
raped. Are being raped literally, and women cannot be of BJP.
So this is all about Hindu
or
and Muslim.
TMC. Woman is a woman.
So this is all about
and a
Hindu
woman
and
is a
Muslim,
woman,
Shivani. This
and
is
you
not about
have
a single
to
woman.
No, it
protect
could
her.
be. One
The
second.
BJP
Can I
is
just
not
come in?
there.
Can I just
about
come in one
Hindu
second?
and
I need
Muslim.
both of you to be calm, please, and not speak over each other. One second, Anuja. You know, it could be that there is an angle where particular sections of people have been attacked. Tasif, you have to listen, please. It could be, it could not be. One second. Tasif, it could be the case, it could not be the case. It could be that that is a reality and that will only be found if there is a proper inquiry at a large scale. My point is only this. The only thing I am asking you.
Happens, Shivani. I beg your pardon, man.
Tasif, one second. My point. Tasif, one second, please. You cannot be judge, jury, and executioner. I am sorry. The Chief Minister cannot be judge, jury, executioner. She cannot be giving a clean chit to people, especially people who are linked to your party and who are close to her. That is not a position the Chief Minister should find herself in. And if she does, she will be asked questions. You cannot sit. One second, one by one, please, 1 second. Tasif, for the last 4 days, 5 days, when national media has been discussing this, TMC spokespersons have been coming and saying, these are ghost stories. It was said on my show that you've said it drama. Yesterday you said these are, all orchestrated. That is just not a response. Even if you don't believe it, even if you don't believe it, that is not an appropriate response of the state machinery and of the ruling party. Why are you not understanding that?
Shivani, I'll give you a statement. Mamata Bandyopadhyay clearly stated that I have never allowed and will never allow any injustice to anyone. 17 people have been arrested for SandeshKhali.
17 people have been arrested in other FIRs that have been registered against people for ruckus or law and order situation. Not a single FIR has been registered as far as these complaints are concerned.
There is no evidence, there is no FIR.
There is no FIR because women are too scared to come out and talk to you because you've already judged them liars. You've already called them BJP workers.
You're coming from Taliban. Are we coming from
You
Taliban
already dismissed them. Do you think somebody will come to you for justice after you do that as a state government?
This is what we are doing from last 13 years. We are ruling the state. This is what we are
Election
giving
victories
justice to
don't
each and
justify
every
this.
one.
I'm sorry to say. Election victories will not justify this.
People of West Bengal,
And you've been reminded by quotes in the past of how the law and order situation has gone awry under the TMC. Just because you're winning elections doesn't mean that this will be brushed under the carpet too. I've got limited time. I'll give Anuja 30 seconds and then we'll call as well. Anuja. No, not over each other. Anuja, please.
Yes, I would like to ask him why this sheikh has been absconding. If he has not done anything, he should have been staying there. Why ED was not allowed for the corruption cases? Why the goons of TMC did not allow the ED to come there and they gagged the people out there? Why the women who voted for Didi, their big sister, allowed them to be raped day after night every time? Why did they do that? And I'm very happy that TMC spokesperson is sitting here and opening up his mouth and showing his face and talking about the audacity and the ordeal of the women in such a low manner, and they are not talking about the dignity of the women. This is such a threshold of the party where the women.
One second. Clearly, there has been a prejudicial. There has been a prejudicial take. 1 second, Alakji. By the state government, machinery, police, and the Chief Minister on this case. Under such circumstances, Nirmal, call 30 seconds to you as well. There is already a taint. Before an FIR can be registered, there's already a taint. Everybody knows of the terror such men, strong men have in their local areas. If you're going to deny that political reality and suddenly say, well, nobody is coming forward to register an FIR, what can we do? surely courts have to step in and some external agency has to step in.
Definitely, this is
Today,
serious systematic.
when-
Alakji, one
this is
second.
serious
Nirmal ji,
systematic violence and
Alak,
abuse.
first
And
Nirmal
it has
call,
to
then
be
I'll come to
thoroughly
you.
investigated.
Yes.
I said it is a case of serious systematic violence and abuse, needs to be very thoroughly investigated, and the victims are being prosecuted. I mean, victims are being harassed here, not to come out. If, they are being threatened. They are registering, disturbance of law and order FIRs against them. That is bad. They have to be given all encouragement to come out and speak the truth and register cases. And because this systematic kind of violence, institutionalized violence and abuse has to end.
Okay. Alak, 30 seconds, final comments.
Today, West Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee has already concluded, that there is no case of sexual assault of these women. And by saying so, she has put a burden on the concerned police department to now go and conclude the same, because their boss is saying the same. Now, what I am trying to say is this: by making a statement that no case of sexual harassment, rape has taken place in SandeshKhali, Mamata Banerjee has actually supported my petition. That is what my petition is all about. How can you conclude even before the investigation is over, even before the FIR is registered?
When
so that is why there is
petition
a
coming up
requirement, there
for
is a
hearing,
need
Alak?
of My petition is coming up for hearing on Monday, that is 19th of Feb. And I am really hopeful that in line with Manipur case, now a judicial committee is required to be sent to these ladies, who can interact with them, handhold them, and try to understand, because they are not going to share their plight in front of these policemen. So what I am trying to say is, by concluding already that there is no such rape incident taken place.
Yeah, that's the
They
problem.
have actually
The state
strengthened
chief
my
minister
argument
cannot be seen
that there
as giving
is a
clean checks
requirement.
as to what you can believe and what you cannot believe. And can I just say, there has been occasions in the past when the chief minister has made very objectionable statements against rape victims. This is not a singular case. She has done so in the past,
No,
and it's a problem.
Can you then expect the concerned state police to conduct impartial inquiry?
Yes,
That
Alak,
is
I
really
got
not
your
possible
point,
if
and that
CM
is the
giving
question.
a
That
clean
is
slate.
why we are asking whether an impartial probe by an external agency is an absolute must in this case. I do thank you all for joining us. Time for a very short break. On the other side, there is political row over the Karnataka budget now. The new Congress government is again coming under the scanner for quote-unquote splurging on minorities while ignoring the majority.
So the point is, depending upon industry that you belong to, depending upon the kind of job that you do, I think one needs to be open and flexible, keeping that in mind. If you're walking into if you're in the hospitality industry, if you are in the healthcare industry, if you're in the media industry, I mean, you have to be used to working at very odd hours. I mean, you have to be on call on most cases. So, but if you did walk into a job where you expected that there would be a stipulated working hours, and then you have your boss calling at odd hours or during the weekends, and then there is definitely a problem. And I think those have to be dealt with as one-on-one instances. One needs to go and speak with the supervisor, speak to the HRT, because such organization culture at any place in time is corrosive and is not sustainable. So I guess we don't need legislation, but we need to apply our minds, our brains to the practicality of the situation and adapt to that. I think that should suffice.
I like what you're saying, and I agree with it 100%. When you say that it can't be, especially in a country like ours, where there are so many options, we are doing everything made in India. We have a startup ecosystem, and we also have MNCs. We have 24/7 media. We also have the film industry thriving, which is working odd hours, long hours, etc. So it has to be an industry-specific approach. But for those, who sort of question and say, why are we working so much? You're saying the solution is not to question the system so much or the industry so much. The question has to be, don't apply. If that is your sort of driver in life, that's your non-negotiable, as I like to call it, when you enter the workforce, then please look for industries as match it. Clearly, media is not for it. If I were to hire someone and have them talk to about, not being able to work 24 hours, it would be really tough for that person, and even for me as a manager to sort of have them on board. Similarly, for startups, I mean, hustle has a different meaning altogether when it comes to startups. But talk to me a little bit about then how should young people really approach it? And is there a way in which people in existing organizations are feeling cornered, pressured, overwhelmed, exhausted?
I guess it depends upon your personal aspirations, ambition, how much you're willing to stake out at the job. And if one is absolutely clear that, look, I want to do this job only for, let's say, 48 hours in a week, and I do not want to do anything more than that, then one has to be extremely prudent in the way they go about the selection process, ask the right questions at the interview stage, do some kind of a research about the organization culture before they get into it. If you ask the patronizing side of me, well, the patronizing side of me will be saying very clearly that if you're a youngster, if you have time in hand, and India is already planning to be a $7 trillion, and if you want a part or a share in that success, then you should be willing to slug it out a little more than just those 48 hours and be flexible. I have been, I've been part of a few organizations, and I can tell you that there are situations at workplaces where it demands you to put in the extra hours. But it's not every day. Honestly, no organization can run on code red every day and every month. And hence, you have to make some kind of a judgment at your end that is it something that I'm willing to do? And there's sure upsides. I have never ever seen anyone who's actually, very rarely to be honest, had experienced a downside of putting in those extras, and especially in the youth. Because this is essentially the approach I suggest to the youth all the time. That and in the process, if you're learning, picking up new skills, you're in any case enhancing your employability.
All right, so it's Friday and we're all set for the weekend. We make plans with family and friends or just want to Netflix and chill in bed. But suddenly, you get a call from your manager saying that you have to pull in a few hours over the weekend. Or worse, after a night of partying, still dealing with a hangover, you get an urgent email on a Sunday morning from work. Nightmare, right? Well, this is a reality for a lot of us, me included. But not if you stay in countries like Belgium, Japan, Germany, UAE. The list is getting longer. Because here, in these countries, they have now rolled out laws or are on their way of rolling out laws where people will not be obliged to respond to work calls or emails over the weekend. In fact, some are even doing away with the 5th working day altogether, meaning work only for 4 days. Others saying let's make some arrangements and you have to clock in a particular number of hours and it's up to you in how many days you spend it. So you could wrap up work in 3 days or 4 days or 7, it's all up to you. Sounds lovely, right? But in India, where we still glorify hustle culture, where we hear our heroes talk about 70-hour work week and that is what will take us forward. How should we really be perceiving this? India kya mangta? Well, काम तो कोई extra नहीं करना चाहता है, but is it feasible in India? What is the right balance that we must really be striking? All of that is what we're going to discuss on the program today. And joining me now for this very fascinating chat is Rituparna Chakrabarti. She's the co-founder for Team Lease. Rituparna actually deals with everyone, a lot of people who come to her perhaps with all these requests, or know a lot of founders who are on the other side or management on the other side who have other point of views in this as well. But Ritu, I just want to understand first off from you, like I said, काम कोई नहीं करना चाहता है, weekend पे तो especially नहीं करना चाहता है. So when we look at these laws, young India, millennials are now thinking, why have we been put through all of this? We should also have a life, we should also have work-life balance. But then you have people like Narayan Murthy, not to sort of demonizing him at all or not to criticize his comments at all. That's a formula that perhaps worked for him in those times. But would you say India now is changing? India now is asking more questions. Employees are now getting more demanding.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Good to be on the show. Yeah.
Welcome back. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah presented the state budget and allocated 100 crore rupees for Waqf properties, 200 crore rupees for the Christian community benefit. With regards to Waqf properties, he announced a special focus on protection and conservation of protected monuments maintained by the ASI already. He further announced programs that will be formulated and implemented through minorities development corporations at a cost of nearly 400 crore rupees. Now, taking on the Karnataka government's budget, the BJP said the Congress government is using Hindu community as a tool to financially enrich other communities. BJP protested outside the assembly premises, expressing displeasure over the fund allocation to non-Hindu communities. But is the appeasement charge valid or not? Take an example of how much money the state earns, especially from Hindu temples alone. There's about 445 crore rupees, that is revenue from temples in Dakshin Kannada, Uttar Kannada, Udupi, Tumkuru, Bengaluru urban districts. Compare that to the funds that have been allocated for quote-unquote Hindu causes. So there's a complex to be built in Varanasi which will be for 5 crores, a bridge to Mantralaya temple for 158 crores. The allocation is just about 163 crores for Hindus or what would be linked to their faith. There's some other schemes but no allocations. Compare that further to the funds that have been announced for minorities alone. Property development, the Hajj Bhavan, pilgrimage sites, Christian community, minority development corporations, it all totals to 723 crores. So this is the question that is arising, if it is fair that you get so much money on one hand because you control Hindu temples alone and they fund a lot for the government, but actually the government is not giving even that proportion back to Hindu faith and its causes. It has been a pattern though since the Congress government came to power. Let me retrace some of their announcements and allocations that have been made since the government change. So for example, in September last year itself, the government announced a 3 lakh rupees subsidy for minorities on vehicle purchases. This created a massive furor in the state at the time. In December, the Chief Minister announced 4,000 crore for minorities welfare alone. He even went on to say that in future, they want to take this minority allocation up to about 10,000 crores. Meanwhile, in the same month, another 1,000 crore rupees were announced for just minority-dominated colonies. So very focused schemes they have, but for the development of only minorities. Even last year's budget, there was 100 crores for Jain, Muslim, Sikh community pilgrimages, 1 lakh rupee loan at a subsidized rate for minority students, 50 crore for 40,000 Waqf properties, now it has been upped by 100%, interest-free loan of up to 20 lakh rupees for minority students, and setting up of a Christian Development Corporation, all in less than a year in power. So the question we ask is this: has there been disproportionate spending on minorities by the Karnataka government, and is the discrimination charge valid?
More a political speech. Siddaramaiah, just to cover up his failures.
ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವರು ಬಾಯಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
We have to laugh or we have to actually how we have to replay for this budget. What is the budget?
Congress government in the state of Karnataka, it is very discriminative. It only plays with the vote bank politics and it is hurting the sentiments of Hindus.
Congress is always accused everybody, and when they are pleasing some community.
Let's go across to our guest joining us. GS Prasanta is spokesperson Karnataka BJP. Bhavya Narsimhamurthy is from the Congress party. I do thank you all for joining us. Bhavya, let me begin with you. Why this hyper focus on the minorities?
You know, the problem is BJP does not sit through the whole budget maybe, so they do not know how we have maintained social justice. We're making sure every community is included. Our main ideology is what our Basavanna had preached about social justice, Sama Samaja, an equal society, creating an equal society. For them to just say the government has allocated money for minorities and not for Hindus is very, very wrong, and it's a misinformation. Let me tell you the very first thing, government, this time the budget allocated for the development of, birthplace of Lord Hanuman, Anjanadi temple is 100 crore rupees. Just the birthplace of Lord Hanuman, just one temple. For Hindus, our government has allocated 100 crore rupees.
Okay, what else?
Just because they do not
nothing else, they have nothing else. It's from our money. It's from Hindu temples' money.
Let me finish. You will get your charts. Let me finish.
Go on.
Just because you can see only one fact and you can see only one allocation, that doesn't mean the government has done only that. We are a people's party and we represent every community in this country.
So what else have you allocated for Hindu faith? So what else have you allocated for Hindu faith, Bhavya? Bhavya, this is your opportunity to tell us. What else have you allocated for Hindu faith alone?
Hindu faith alone. So we have a separate department called Mujrai, only to work on the development of temples. It was started by Congress government.
It's our money.
So that whatever we get out of the temples, the income will be spent on, the temples, and the development actually happens. So that no individual takes care, takes the money.
But that's not something the government is doing, right? That's temple money.
Enough.
But Bhavya, that's temple money.
SCST is not Hindus. SCST is not Hindus. OBC is not Hindus.
No, SCSTs, one second. SCSTs are there in Muslims also. SCSTs are there in Christians also. Then do it for SCSTs, no? All SCSTs.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying for them to say we have not done anything for Hindus, for OBCs separately, for SCST.
Let me come back
one second. No, I'm trying to understand. Before, I want to give the Congress representative an opportunity. You mentioned the Anjana temple. I get that. Apart from that, when I asked you what else have you allocated for Hindu faith alone, because you've allocated a lot for Christian faith, Muslim faith, etc. You said whatever we get from the temples gets spent on the temples. But that's not a largesse of the state government, right?
Yeah.
Apart from that, what else are you doing for Hindu faith?
Muslim community has been allocated. Yes, Christian community has been allocated. Jains have been allocated. Hindus have been allocated. Every community has been allocated.
So what have you allocated for the Hindus is what I'm asking.
Not Hindus. That's very wrong. That would be very wrong.
Why? When you can allocate for Muslims, why can't somebody ask you for Hindus? Why is that wrong?
Who is saying it's wrong?
So what have you allocated? I'm asking you.
Giving information. I'm telling you, one temple has been allocated 100 crores.
So 100 crores has been allocated versus 700 crore plus for minorities of the state. This is despite the fact that you get so many hundreds of crores from Hindu temples.
For them to say building Ram temple is about showing Hinduism, why not building Hanuman temple is Hinduism?
You're not listening to the question I'm asking you, Bhavya. We are not. One second. That's not the question. Nobody is questioning your devoutness. The question one is asking is, if Hindu temple money is going to Hindu temples, that's not a largesse of the state, first of all. You're not doing anybody any favors. Secondly, one second, let me finish. Secondly, you mentioned 100 crores for a Hindu temple. Okay, 100 crores for a Hindu temple. Is that all or is there more? I'm giving you one more opportunities because there is about 700, 800 crores for minorities alone. I'm guessing there are more Hindus in the state.
Yes, of course, of course. Okay,
Yeah.
let me just tell you. No tax, 1 second. I had written it here. Okay. For Ram temple, revamp of Ram temples across, it is 100 crores. It's only for Anjanagri temple, it is 100 crores. You can see that. This was done.
These are all temples that you already get money from.
Jan 31st of
Shivani, I think
2024.
I need to come in now.
Yeah, okay. I've got limited time. I've got limited time. So let Mr. Prasanta respond. Mr. Prasanta, are you one
That's
second,
very wrong.
1 second.
That's what
Is your chief argument, Bhavya ji, 1 second now, please yield, please yield. Is your principal argument, Prasanta, that temple money goes to the government but then adequate amount doesn't come back to Hindu faith? Or is your principal opposition that minority schemes are being given more and more? What is your opposition?
Shivani, firstly, please spell my name as Prashant, not
Prashant.
Prasanta. Not a
Okay.
Bengali. I'm from Bangalore. Be that as it may, now coming to the budget given by Siddaramaiah, it's a directionless, visionless budget aimed only at minorities. I'll tell you 3 or 4 reasons for that. On what reason it is. Now, point number 1. You put out a on your screen saying 723 crores allocated for minorities versus 158 crores for Hindus, which is wrong because that out of that 158 crores for, it's a bridge being done, it's a infrastructure for a public project which also has Mantralaya temple on the way. It's not exclusive to Mantralaya temple. That is one point.
Sure,
The
I
second
take your point.
No, you have, let me complete. You have at para 51 of the budget speech, you have a 12 crore annual allocation for raw silk reelers, which is again linked with Minority Development Corporation. Are you saying that only minorities are in the business of raw silk reelers? No.
Yes.
Then you come to para 53 of the speech. He talks about empowerment of women and 6% interest subsidy for women to purchase cow or buffalo on the with the condition that there should be proper repayment. Whereas at para 188 of the budget speech, he talks about 10 crore for women self-help groups for minorities, no conditions. And at para 186 of the budget speech, he talks about 6% interest subsidy for minority loans up to 10 crores, no condition for prepayment. This is apart from the other allocations what they have done for minorities of 200 crores for Christians, 100 crore for Waqf properties, and also they want to give some training to the Maulvis or Mulavis, whatever by whatever name called there. But they are not wanting to have any training for other people. In fact, they are taking money from Hindu temples, having the Hindu temples under their control, which is giving them more than 500 crores annually, that they are spending on the minorities. This is an appeasement-driven budget and nothing else. There is zero development. Also, let's talk about the Bangalore, brand Bangalore. They have brought about a tunnel with no allocation. Bhavya, please wait. Bhavya, you have exhausted your time. Please wait. Please wait for your turn, Bhavya. You will not get to talk now. Let me complete. Let me complete your appeasement theory. Let me complete your appeasement
Okay,
theory.
one by one, please. One by one. Bhavya, you
Shivani,
had
I
your
need to
opportunity multiple times. One by one. Bhavya, please.
Shivani, I need to complete.
1 second. I
Shivani,
don't
need
want
to
you to
complete.
I don't want to do this. Both of you are
Yes,
senior
let
enough.
me complete.
Please not speak over each other. Yes, Prashant,
Yes,
please
let me
finish.
complete. Let me complete. At para 161, he allocates 2,710 crore for SC, ST and BC. Good. But this is the government which has siphoned off 11,000 crores meant for SC, ST in the past. So by siphoning off 11,000 crores, they are trying to allow 2,710 crores. This is again an eyewash on the SC, ST and BC communities. They're only wanting to appease minorities and doing this.
Okay.
And you also
Can I
have
ask-
on the education. No,
Yeah.
Shivani, one more minute.
Yeah.
On the education, you have Karnataka public schools to be started at para 96 of the budget speech with the help of CSR funds. University of Vishweshwaraya College to be upgraded with CSR funds and alumni funds, which means for Karnataka public schools and UVCE, you want CSR funds and public funds, whereas for minorities, government will give largesse of 100 crores for work, 200 crores for Christians. What sort of a budget is this?
Okay.
For,
Can
on
I come
one
in
hand,
now?
you want
Can I
money
come
for
in?
public.
1 second, Bhavya. One second, Bhavya. The question I want to ask you is this: you know, Congress's one of Congress's biggest leaders, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, is going across the country and he's talking about "Jitni abadi utna haq," right? So my question to the Congress government in Karnataka is, why are you not following that philosophy in your state expenditure and budget? Why should Hindus, which are the predominant majority of the state, not get predominant funds when it particularly pertains to their faith? Jitni abadi utna haq, Karnataka mein kyun nahi ho raha hai?
So Shivani, this is so basic. I need to get to it. When it comes to, social justice, yes, everybody according to their population, jitni abadi, jitni haq, it is being followed. And
what is social justice here? What is social justice? Allocation of budget, jitni abadi, utna haq is social justice.
You cannot make statements that, we are against Hindus and all. That would be very
Nobody is saying that.
You've
got to prove yourself. But the question I'm asking you is simple. The question I'm asking you is simple. If it is about social justice, then you identify...
allocated 54,000 crores, and this time in the budget we have allocated 39 crores for SASP and TSP. Then comes about the schools. What about the, when we have majority as Hindus, all these development schemes, all these social justice schemes, social security schemes, who is the major beneficiary of
Yeah, but the minorities benefit from those schemes too. No, this is a very, one second, this is a very lopsided, just lower it. This is a very lopsided argument. Bhavya, I'm sorry, but you will not speak over me. This is a very lopsided argument. If schemes benefit majority 80% of the population, those schemes also benefit the minority 20% of the population. So you don't need to have separate schemes for the minorities. And if you are talking about social justice, social justice is on the parameter of backwardness, economic or social. It is not on the parameter on religion.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to constitution,
we
always have reservation based on caste and not economics.
Yeah, so there is an EWS now. There is an EWS reservation now.
For that matter, whether it is SC, ST or OBC.
Yeah, but it's not on the basis of religion, madam.
The very ideology of our government is about backward community.
Yes, so do it for backward communities. Nobody is questioning that. Why do you have so much largesse for minorities pertaining to religious minorities when you're already doing for backward classes, which are also part of minority communities? Then what is the justification? Then just do social justice on the basis of backwardness.
No, backward classes are not part of minorities.
Of course they are part of minorities. What are you saying? You're not well versed with the reality on ground. There are SC, STs in minorities. There are SC, STs in Christians, in Muslims. What are you talking about?
The community backward class includes majority of Hindu castes which have remained backward.
Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds to Mr. Prashant. No, jitni abadi utna haq aap bol rahe hain. If your leader goes around the country, says this, then you should do it in your budget also, no? 30 seconds to Mr. Prashant.
Yes, let me also bring about, this is a revenue deficit budget. And you also look at what were the budget estimates and what they've come down to. They proposed in 2023-24 when they came to power that they will collect 1,75,000 crores as revenue. Now they have revised their estimates to 1,61,000 crores, which is less by 14,000 crores. On the other hand, the share of central taxes, which is devolution from the central government, which was estimated at 37,252 crores, has increased to 40,280 crores, which means the central government has given 3,000 crores more. And also, in their open market loans, they're projected to increase their borrowings by 19,000 crores, which means at every step to fund this minority appeasement, they're wanting to take more loans, which will be a burden on the exchequer.
You know,
but
the
there's
Congress
nothing for the
government
common
came
man.
to power on the back of some very strong guarantees. Those guarantees apply to everyone. And if they do benefit everyone in the state, why do you need even more for a particular section? I'll leave you with that thought. I do thank our guests for joining us. Time for the hard facts on the other side.
My friends, look at the hypocrisy. In the union capital, opposition politicians say the government is dictatorial for blocking the farmers from reaching Delhi to protest. But today,